I started Growclass in 2020. It started as an experiment. So I had been working for a San Francisco tech startup. It was acquired by Airbnb in 2017. I was very burnt out. So instead of moving to San Francisco to work for a big tech company, I decided to consult, mostly because I wanted to do yoga in the day, to be honest. Like, I was just very tired. And I was working with companies building out their growth strategies, especially Series A, Series B companies. And there was this problem that every company, specifically Canadian companies that I was working with, was coming up against, and they couldn't find great growth talent, especially at the early stages. They couldn't find those people who could find them their first 1,000 customers. And that's a very specific skill set. You can't really get it working at a bigger organization, and not a lot of people are really good at it. So we started helping them train those people, and that work was way more fun than any of the strategic planning, consulting work I was doing. So we decided to run an experiment. We threw up a Squarespace site. We called the 8-week course Growclass. We opened it up, and in 48 hours, the whole thing sold out. And so we were like, okay, there's demand here. People want to learn these skills. There isn't, there's the ability to learn high-level theoretical marketing in a university, or very basic early stage marketing at a competitor, but there isn't someone who's doing the practical piece, teaching people how to grow companies. So we launched that, had so much fun, ran it off the side of our desks for 6 months, and then fired all of our consulting clients in February of 2020 and launched right around the time of the pandemic. But we've been doing that for 3 years now. We have over 800 graduates, and they're making more money than they were before, which is always our goal, and they're incredible. One of the things that we're really conscious of, because our goal is helping founders build 7-figure businesses and helping marketers, but specifically women and marginalized people, build 6-figure careers. Because those are the people who historically have not been able to break into those really high-paying tech jobs. So that's where we want those folks to be. And within 3 months of taking Growclass, they're making $27,600 more than they were before. And that's one of the main things that I care a lot about. We were running cohorts in person. We had already started building an online platform. So we had to go online, which was a very weird experience for everyone involved. And then everyone started getting laid off. So we had all of these folks who were in our target market in terms of folks that we would love to teach, who all of a sudden didn't have jobs. And so there are people who will focus on personal development in those times, and there's some people who are going to get really scared and don't want to spend any money in those times. So it was a bit of a balance of how do we communicate and how do we be sensitive to what's the lived reality of a lot of folks during that time. I worked my entire career. I worked for venture-funded startups, and I saw how that could impact a founder's ability to kind of choose their own adventure, to build the company that they actually wanted to build, not the company that had to scale as quickly as possible. And when you're building a community-based company, it is really hard to do that well if someone's breathing down the back of your neck telling you have to sell and scale. We wanted to build an authentic network that was really useful and helpful to people, and that forcing communities to scale too early breaks them. So we knew we could build a profitable business from day one, and we have. And we didn't need a lot of outside capital, only because we could do a lot of the stuff ourselves. It's not these aren't like fun, frivolous pet projects. They have to be real businesses that understand the fundamentals and can be profitable early on. And that's mostly about knowing your customer and building the right thing. And so I think there's a lot of people who were kind of padded by a lot of easy VC capital. They were able to run companies that maybe would not have survived in an economy like this. And now we're starting to see, okay, we're going to go back to those foundational fundamentals of how to build a business and build something that's profitable from early on. To be honest, like the community that we've built at Growclass gets me excited all the time. I think there's this lens in tech that the people who are successful are individual founders, and they're these creative geniuses who built these companies in a basement, and they were able to make $1 billion off of their own effort alone. And what I'm seeing is that story misses most of the people who are involved in making those companies successful, and it leaves out the opportunity that we could potentially build something together. That there's the opportunity for the collective to share resources, talent, network, understandings and learnings, and help build each other at the same time as we're building our companies. And that's what I'm seeing happen within Growclass. I'm starting to see people kind of break out of that individualist mindset of how success should look and focus on how are we making each other successful? How are we building a collective that really cares not just about our own personal success, but about how everyone is able to succeed?